Welcome virtually to the garden at the Whitehorne House Museum, a museum dedicated to the artistry, history, and culture of 18th century Newport furniture and related decorative arts, founded by Doris Duke. Doris Duke was a practitioner of yoga herself, and we're so glad you could join us at the museum for this 45-minute basic and gentle yoga practice, led by Kim Chandler from Innerlight Yoga in Middletown. We hope the garden's landscape and soundscape help you to relax and unwind. We're so happy you could join us. Enjoy.
Hello, my yoga friends. I'm Kim Chandler from Innerlight Center for Yoga and Meditation in Middletown, Rhode Island. And I am here in this beautiful garden this afternoon at the Whitehorne House Museum. It's a beautiful summer afternoon. I'm looking forward to being with you in yoga. Okay, let's get started with our yoga this beautiful summer afternoon in the garden at the Whitehorne House Museum. We'll start in a seated position. This is how it's comfortable for me to sit. Please sit however is comfortable for you. That could include sitting in a chair if that's better for you. We'll begin with some pranayama. And we'll also be doing some poses close to the ground. We'll do some standing work if you'd like a chair or to be near the wall to help with your balance. Feel free. And please remember that anything I offer is a suggestion. And my greatest hope is that you will sense everything that I offer through your body and make adjustments. You can add to things, you can subtract from things so that you're comfortable. And let this be a time of deep connection with yourself through your body, your breath, and your awareness. I like to think of yoga as self-care. So here we go. From a comfortable seat, you could close your eyes or soften your gaze and take a few long, slow breaths. Sigh your exhalation out audibly. It's very soothing for the nervous system to hear the sigh of the breath. And as you settle down into your seat, and I'm just keeping my eyes soft right now, not looking straight at the camera. You might have your eyes closed. Be aware of your environment, the space around you. Be aware of sounds around you wherever you're practicing. Imagine your whole body somewhat porous to sound as sounds come and go. You might feel air on your skin, whether you're inside or outside. And become aware of your body's connection with whatever you're sitting on. A mat, the floor, a chair, and encourage that connection. So each time you exhale, you have a deeper sense of belonging to the ground, to the earth, and use that foundation to lengthen up. So as your seat settles down, the top of your head lifts up, and you create a lot of freedom for your breath to move. Soften the belly. And we'll begin with some slow pranayama. If possible, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. On the inhalation, take your arms up, stretch open through your fingers, and exhale through the mouth. And inhale and reach up, stretch wide through the fingers. Exhale down. We'll do this a few more times. If it's comfortable for you, you could pick up your pace, but you don't have to. And your exhalation could be a little more vigorous. Last few rounds. And slow it down again. The next time that you lift your arms up, keep the arms up overhead, hold the breath in just for a moment, and then exhale and bring the arms down. Take a moment again to sit, eyes soft or closed. Feel the breath coming back into its natural rhythm. Feel the effect of that very brief, simple pranayama on your body, on your state of mind. And now move off your seat and onto hands and knees. Our first active asana is half puppy pose or quarter dog. So your seat is up high, right arm forward, left forearm across the mat, your head bows down. I rest my forehead on my forearm, but if you have a yoga block or a book handy, you could rest your forehead there. 5 or 6 long, slow, deep breaths, either ocean breath or simple ujjayi or dirgha pranayama. And take all the time you want in that opening pose, no rush at all. Part of my self-care is usually slowing down on the yoga mat. And then when you're ready, come into a lunge with your left foot forward. I'm using blocks to bring the ground up to me. You could use blocks or a book or just have your hands on the ground. And we'll move a little bit with the breath. Breathe in and rise up. Breathe out and dip down. And keep following your breath with this simple pattern of movement at your own pace. You don't have to keep rhythm with me. Just follow the cadence of your breath. One more round going up and then down. And we'll pause here breathing in a lunge. This is really wonderful for opening up the psoas muscle in the back thigh. Find an angle that works for your back. So you could lean forward if that's more comfortable. You could come straight up. If you like taking your arms up overhead in any position, go for it. You could create as much back bend as you'd like. Open up your breath, long and slow. Again, you're sensing through your body when you've had enough. When you sense that, change to the other side for half puppy. I'm pivoting around this way for the benefit of the camera. But any way you'd like to get there, half puppy on the other side. And take several more breaths in half puppy. The benefit of that pose is to help lengthen through the side body. You have a very mild inversion, which has lots of benefits for the spine, some of the large organs. And then when you're ready, come into a lunge with your right foot forward, or whatever's the other side for you. And then we'll move with the breath again. Rise on the inhale. Lower on the exhalation. And go with the flow of your breath. Nice and easy. You can always keep going with that pattern of movement, or, as I'm doing now, you could take a pause. Remember the element of self-care. So create ease for your body. Let your breath support that. When you're ready to move on from here, come into a broad standing pose. So feet far apart, straight ahead. That's important that your feet are straight ahead. Whether your hands are elevated on yoga blocks or books, see if you can find a position where your back is parallel to the floor. And take a few breaths drawing the top of your thigh bone straight back, the top of your head in the opposite direction. From here, you might take your hands further forward, again, on props or directly on the floor or soft ground if you have the opportunity to practice outdoors, as I do now. And bow the head down. And keep going. Stretch out your breath as you stretch out your body. A few more rounds of breath. When you're ready to come up, walk your hands closer to your feet. Bring your feet a little closer together. Hands at the hips. Use your abdominal muscles so you bring your back up in one long line, no rounding. And step the feet underneath the hips. So let's practice standing yoga mudra pose. Feet straight ahead, hip width apart. Take your hands together and begin to squeeze your shoulder blades towards the spine. You can practice this upright, or you could come halfway forward. Really focus on lengthening out your back. Your hands could be resting at the low back. That's fine. You're just exploring that stretch through the shoulder. Possibly you dive forward. When you come up, again, bend your knees, so long, long spine, no rounding, all the way upright. Release your hands. Notice the effect of that opening across the shoulders. Take a wide stance. Extended side angle. Turn your right foot towards the short end of your mat. Bend that same knee. Track your knee so it's straight up from your ankle, not wandering in. You can lean on your front thigh if you'd like. Back thigh very strong. Press the back thigh a little to the back of the body. Top hand could be at the hip. Torso rotates. Breath is moving. Your top hand could go straight up or at an angle. Keep rooting down into your feet, right? That's your stability, your ground, your foundation. As many breaths here as makes sense for your body, and then use your feet, rise all the way up. Other side. I have to say, I don't have the opportunity to practice outside, or I don't take the opportunity to practice outside very often. This is reminding me why I should. It's so lovely. The breeze, the air on my skin is really nice. So here we go, in your own time, as you're ready. Enjoy your breath. And this time, as you feel, just naturally, as you feel full of the pose, we're going to go down rather than up. So the down is hands to the mat, crawl down to table pose, and you choose. You can either come back into puppy pose with both arms or downward facing dog. Eventually we meet up on hands and knees, table pose, for a balancing pose. Actually I'm going to turn around just for visual purposes. And take your right leg back, lift the leg up so your hips are pretty much parallel. Feel the strength of your body here. You can keep both hands down or extend your left arm forward. This is a very complex pose. Feel all the different directions of action. And keep your jaw out of the effort, so jaw is relaxed. Release the first side, right over to the second side. And now the hips drop all the way back towards the heels into your version of child's pose. Make your way down to the front of the body. And we'll do a little bit of back bending here. Start with your legs streaming behind you, and then crawl your way up onto forearms, so you're in Sphinx pose. And breathe. There's no weight in your wrists or your hands, but keep the energy there very active. And as you sense through your body, if you'd like more back bend, you could move into some variation of Bhujangasana or Cobra pose or any other back bend from this belly down position. And breathe and feel. And when you've had all the time you want in your back bend, release slowly. And make your way onto your back. Knees to chest. Once you feel your back stretched out after that first back bend, let's come into bridge pose. I'm going to just grab my blocks so they're handy. So one possibility with bridge pose is to do it in a supported fashion with a block under your sacrum, or you could use a book for that matter. It's a wonderful way to do a back bend, especially on a warm summer day, because back bends tend to be heating. So that would be a little cooler variation. Or you could do the more willful back bend and lift the hips. Your hands in any position that works for you, really working in your legs. And however you're practicing this pose, like all your poses, it's one breath at a time, in the moment, in your body. Release the pose slowly. Take your arms wide. And then begin to go side to side across the back of the pelvis. That position, I'm just shading my eyes from the sun. So the position of your arms here, out wide and open and heavy, really nice for your lungs. So as best you can, encourage your arms to be heavy and to really lay back. After several times going side to side, take a pause with your knees over on the right side. And breathe. Breathe all the way into the shape of the pose and all the way out. All the way in, all the way out. Feel that heaviness coming through your legs as well as your arms. When you're twisting on your back like this, your head could stay neutral. I'm turning my head to look at the camera, and that can work as long as it's easeful for your neck. You could also turn your head in the same direction as your knees. And then to the other side when you're ready. Eventually return to the middle, and one more time, knees towards the chest. It might feel good to have a hand on each kneecap and push your knees around in a little circle so your sacrum gets a massage. Okay, I'm going to turn my body around to go the other way. I'm doing a particular version of hot yoga today. If you are practicing outside, you might be in the shade. So let's see, we'll continue on our back with reclined pigeon, right ankle over the left thigh. You could practice this with your left foot staying down, or you can lift it up and take your hands or a strap around the left thigh. Once you've gotten yourself, you can keep going in that pose. I've just got myself up so I can talk to you. Once you've gotten yourself organized in that pose, be really attentive to your breath. It's a pose that's very easy to have your breath get shallow because the body is pretty bound up. So attentive to your breath, really fluid, easeful. It can also be a fairly intense pose, depending on your body. But trust your instincts on that. So whenever you're ready, you can come over to the other side. Same pose, second side, but you might need to approach it differently, or it may feel quite different in your body on the second side. Relax your jaw. Let the head drop back, nice and heavy. Your body will definitely give you a cue when you've had enough, whenever that is for you. It doesn't have to be in my timing, but when it's right for you, come out of the pose, feet back to the mat, arms wide again, you've been here before, and rolling side to side across the back of the pelvis, nice and easy. You might coordinate that movement with your breath, so when you exhale, the knees go down, and when you breathe in, the knees come back up. And then back to the middle. Knees come in, and this time into happy baby pose. So your hands could connect at the back of the thighs, or down towards the ankles, or onto the soles of the feet. Nothing to force. Go with what makes sense for your body. Breathe and feel. Long, slow breath. Really stretch out your exhalation. So the nature of this pose in part is in the name, right? Happy baby. I think babies tend to wiggle their toes and be amused at their own toes in this pose. Have some fun, take your time. I usually feel like I like to rock a little bit side to side. I like to feel the action of my arms drawing the knees down, and at the same time the action of my legs pressing up into the resistance of my arms. Play with happy baby in your body as long as you want, and then return to very simple knees to chest. And we'll do a last couple of poses here before we move into our relaxation. So another revolved pose on your back. Take your right thigh and stack it on top of the left. Shift your hips a little bit to the right. Right arm opens out wide, and allow the weight of your knees to lean down towards the floor or the ground. And breathe. So this is related to but different from the earlier twist that we did. If this arrangement with your legs doesn't feel easeful, another possibility is back in the middle, you unravel your legs and just lean them over with the knees bent. If you wrap your thighs up this way, it will be a little stronger twist. Notice where you feel the pose in your body. Imagine that you're breathing into all the places where you do feel the pose. And you don't have to worry about keeping pace with anybody. All that I have in mind here is doing this same pose on the other side. So let your body have as many breaths as it wants on this side. And then whenever it's right for you, you can move out of this side very slowly, back through the middle and to the same pose or some variation of it on the second side. And there's nothing to force here. Sometimes people wonder if the knees should be coming down to the floor. No, that's not required. You want your back to feel comfortable. So nothing to force. You could even put a stack of books underneath your knees over on the right side. Or a yoga block and bring the floor up to you. Breathe and feel. This is a good time in your practice to begin to really very mindfully, deliberately slow your breath down and be aware of the pause at the bottom of each exhalation. No rush. As you feel ready, slowly back your way out, return to the middle. And one more time, knees to chest. Take several breaths here with any movement that feels good for you. One thing I usually really enjoy in this position is to put a hand on each kneecap and circle the knees out wide apart and then back together. That action of the top of the thigh bone moving around in the pelvis is very beneficial, typically, for the hip joints. A few times in each direction. And before our relaxation in Savasana, please bring your feet down to the mat and then soles of the feet together, knees go wide. I like to take my arms out wide, but you could have your arms in whatever position feels good for you. But definitely be aware of your arms. The big action in this pose is more in the lower body, but include your upper body in your awareness. And we'll be in this pose for a little bit. I'm going to come out of it so I can sit up and talk to the camera. But you continue in Supta Baddha Konasana to breathe. Feel your body. And this is a good pose for a very particular pranayama that I learned from the Heart Math Institute. And it's a pranayama that's very easeful and is extremely beneficial for interrupting a wide range of stress-related symptoms. So as you're reclining on your back in Supta Baddha Konasana, the supine bound angle, or really any other pose you might choose, bring your awareness to your breath. And very intentionally, but without forcing anything, begin to stretch out your inhalation and stretch out your exhalation. And as you breathe in, count the whole length of your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't really matter what number you get to. When you exhale, same thing. Count the whole length of your exhalation, all the way to the bottom. And keep going with that. So you breathe in, you count to the top of the inhalation. Breathe out, count all the way to the bottom of the exhalation. Your awareness of breath is in the foreground. The counting happens a little more subtly in the background. You're going in the direction of your exhalation being longer than your inhalation. You count at the same pace, so your exhalation is slowed down, more controlled than your inhalation. If it's possible, again, without creating any stress with your breathing, the exhalation might be twice the count of your inhalation. That can be fun to kind of explore and play with. Nice and easy. No forcing. And continue with your breathing and your counting for several more rounds. This practice of counting your breath is something that you can bring with you off the yoga mat anytime during the day. You can also bring that practice into other poses as you practice them on your mat. So finish up this last round or two, and then we'll move into relaxation in Savasana. Remember the suggestion of self-care for your practice, so take good care of your body. If it feels best to have something under your knees, if that allows your low back to relax more, then definitely you can put a couch pillow or a bed pillow, really anything under the back of the knees. If it feels good to have something under the back of the neck or the back of the head, go with that. Make sure that your body is the right temperature, right, so it can relax with a blanket or no blanket. And now let all your deliberate breathing and counting, let it go. Let the breath be absolutely natural. And just like when you began your practice, be aware of the environment that you're resting in. You might notice sounds, far away sounds that come and go, or sounds close by in the same area or the same room where you're practicing. Just let all the sounds be, including the sound of your natural breath as it comes and goes. Relax the eyes. Relax the jaw. Relax your hands. Relax the feet. Move your attention down into the legs, the whole length of both legs at the same time. Rest your attention in the legs, in the density of the legs, the weight, the length. Rest attention in both legs at the same time. No effort. And now move your attention to the arms and rest your attention in both arms at the same time. Attention resting in the arms, no effort. And now expand your attention to rest in the whole body. Attention resting in the whole body. Like water filling a pond, touching all the shores evenly. No effort. No effort. Attention resting in the whole body. And continue to rest, to relax. Rest in sound. Rest in the breath. Rest in the body. Rest in awareness. Continue to relax more and more deeply for the next few minutes. No effort. Now gradually begin to stretch your breath in a very leisurely way. And as you stretch your breath, begin to move your body in a very leisurely way. Whenever it's possible at the end of your yoga practice, really beneficial to go as slowly as you can in that transition. It's like a very gentle, the way you might very gently wake a sleeping child. You might like to rest on your side for a bit. It's also beneficial to take a moment to appreciate your effort, appreciate the way that you created the opportunity for this deep self-care through working with your body, your breath, and your awareness. It's a tremendous opportunity that we have to practice together, even in a virtual way, connecting with ourselves and with each other in this way while we're safe. So when we close our practice in the generosity of the yogic spirit, we offer all the goodness of our practice out. And we send it, classically, we send that goodness out on the vibration of Om. Although really you could make any sound you want or create any ritual that you'd like for your closing. If there's anyone in particular who you would like to offer the goodness of your practice to, bring them into your mind, into your heart. And then touch the hands together in Anjali Mudra. And together we'll send the goodness out on the vibration of Om. Take a big breath in. Om. Namaste. The light in me greets the light in you. Thank you so much for being here, practicing yoga together. Mwah. Thank you.